Hey, it's Vu, and today I'm going to be talking about reviewing and analyzing your own demos. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people either don't do at all, which is a hole in your gameplay, or don't do correctly, where you insert your own opinion a little bit too much into your demos, where you go, I feel like I had to do this when you really didn't. So I want to go over this, and I think it's something that a lot of people can vastly improve their gameplay by doing. So it's something that even a lot of high level players don't do that I think is really necessary. So, first, you need to remember that it is more than possible, actually, it's common for you to do everything correct and still end up dying without getting a kill or losing the round. It's absolutely standard. It happens all the time to everybody. It is also absolutely standard that you can do something wrong and still end up with a kill. You can still end up winning the round. That's not uncommon, and you have to recognize when that happens and decide if you could have done something better. All right, now, what you need to remember here is that you need to analyze every decision you made based on the knowledge you had in the game, not the knowledge that you have now that you're in the Go TV demo watching it back, okay? And you need to recognize if you didn't have knowledge that you should have had or you didn't act upon it correctly. So if my teammate calls, 5 people rushing B and I'm playing mid here on cash, and I run up mid and want to rotate through vents and someone shoots me from mid garage, that is not my fault. That's my teammate's fault for calling 5B. So that's the type of thing that you need to remember. Now, here's what you want to be analyzing. You want to be analyzing first any major decision point. This is the most important bit. This is the part you have to focus on here. There are tons and tons of major decision points, and I'll just give you a few that you could recognize here. After every kill sequence. This doesn't mean after every kill. This means after every time you kill someone, and then you have a second of downtime, but like other people are rushing you. So you need to be either re-aggressing, falling back, or pulling out a nade and using it. Okay, so you need to analyze, did you make the right decision there? Should you have gone aggressive? Should you have fallen back? Should you have fallen back and thrown a nade and gone aggressive again? Should you have done, separate things? Analyze every time. Look at what you could have done and what you did do and where you could have changed up what you did do and decide if you did it correctly or decide if you did it wrong. Now, second is at every death. Go back and find out your decision making for that death. Okay, now you have to decide if your decision making was sound that led you to the point where you died. Okay, so your decision-making easily could have been sound, where you were trying to do something, you missed your peak, you missed your shot, you didn't do something specific, and that caused you to die, but your decision-making also could have been completely wrong, and you need to analyze if that was correct. Now, third is during every retake. This is where you decide, did I throw flashes correctly? Could I have gone a different direction? Did I work with my teammates correctly? Did I do everything correctly? So you look at the retake from a large perspective where you look at the minimap. Where are all your teammates coming from? And decide if your position in that retake is correct given that knowledge. Now, the second thing, so I've gone over the major decision points here. The second thing you need to recognize and analyze here is that you need to analyze every time you get caught out. Now, this isn't every time you die. This isn't every time you take major damage while you get caught out. This is every time you are in the middle of the open or unprepared, either one, they're both getting caught out, and someone spots you or shoots at you from the enemy team. Okay, it's that simple. That is getting caught out. You are caught out if you are not ready or you are in the middle of the open and you are shot at from an opponent. So analyze, was there a reason I was in the middle of the open? Is it acceptable that I was in the middle of the open? Maybe you have to rotate because the opponents are at the other bomb site and someone peeks out on you as you're rotating. Well, could you have been hugging a wall differently? Could you have cleared that area before rotating? Could you have smoked it off? Could you have done, X, Y, Z, and anything else, right? You need to recognize this, think about it, and analyze how you could have done anything better possibly. And then after you analyze if you could have done anything better, consider if it was correct to do anything better. So maybe if someone peeks out on you while you're rotating and kills you, you could have smoked it off. before you rotated. But that doesn't make too much sense because you're wasting a smoke that you don't need to throw. So maybe you should have actually cleared it, or maybe you should have been hugging a different wall, which doesn't expend any resources but allows you to rotate safely. Next, you need to look at every time you're holding on to a site after a plant. So this is retakes from the other direction. You are defending a retake. So you're basically going to do the same thing you do when you analyze a retake. Look at your team's entire position, look at what you have, and decide if you played it correctly. Now decide first if you went to the right position to play it correctly. So maybe if you're holding a retake from B site on cash here and your whole team is in sight, maybe you needed to be outside of sight. Or maybe that wasn't your fault that your whole team's in sight. Maybe it's your team's fault for running into sight after you, so you can recognize if it was your fault or not. And recognize, could you have left sight after you recognized all 5 of your teammates were in sight, or was it too dangerous? In which case, it's not your fault that all 5 teammates are in sight, it's your teammates' fault. And then you recognize, did you use your nades correctly? Do you have a smoke and 2 flashes? Should you have used them to stop them from retaking? Should you have used them to peek out and get kills? Or should you have used them in some other way? Now, again, you have to recognize that if there's anything that you did wrong that they didn't recognize, then you still need to fix that. So if you notice you're holding a bomb site take and you're a little bit out in the open, or you're a little bit kind of going for frags a little bit too much, or something like that, this is something that a lot of people will have problems with because you need a lot of kind of game knowledge to actually be able to analyze this type of thing. But it's still something that you should be analyzing and trying to find out those holes in your gameplay that other people can recognize. So maybe on T side, you're not checking your corners well enough, you're peeking too wide, something like that. That's the type of thing that most people do try to pick up on in their demos, but a lot of people do fail in doing so. So now that I've gone over everything you kind of need to know to analyze one of your own demos, I'm just going to analyze a few rounds here, 3 rounds of my own demo, just to give you an idea of exactly what I'll be doing when I'm analyzing my own demos here. So on this round, I'm going to be on a buy round. I've bought up an M4. I'm just going to go somewhat aggressive here. The reason for going aggressive here is that I know that their team doesn't go B very often. However, this is a very, very, very dangerous play, and in hindsight, I really should have gone through checkers here if I wanted to aggress, because heading through main here is incredibly dangerous. Now, one thing that was good about that is I threw that flash to actually peek. So if I had support from this teammate here, if he had come over here and been looking in with me, then I think this would have been a good peek because of that flash, because I would have had support from my teammate. However, since I didn't have support from my teammate, it was very dangerous to actually push like this. The thing is, if you look at the scoreline, I was having a lot of trouble actually finding kills, so I was just going overly aggressive because I was bored. But that's no real excuse to do something like this. I need to be playing it correctly. So I spot them out, and then I correctly fall back here. Now this is where it gets fairly dangerous, where I throw that flash and want to try and re-peek. That was a misplay. Now the reason that was a misplay in my eyes was because I don't need to go aggressive. I've already gotten out of harm's way. I can just sit behind this box, and I have support from my teammate here, Doodle, who just died actually. But if he had just stayed here, I would have had support from him, and we would have been at a very good crossfire to hold the site. There was no justification for me to go aggressive, especially given that it was 5v4 already. Now, my teammate has died. I cannot move here. I have no flashes. I have no nades. I have nothing to move with. I need to stay here, so I'm just trying to hold the box here. Now you're going to see, I'm going to continue holding this box. What I'm doing is, you saw me for a second there, I was holding a wider angle. That's because I know people are often going to be peeking this box. However, I don't want them to peek right out at me. If they're running along like this, they're usually looking either here or they're looking out here. Okay, and if they run across, I can just get a good aim shot down there very easily. Now, I'm also now in danger from vents, so I'm basically scared right now. And my teammate actually flashes me out so I can peek. Unfortunately, he actually blinds me. But now that my teammate just flashed that, I'm able to aggress here. I know that both of their players, or 2 of their players, are over here. And what I'm doing here is I'm aggressing because I'm scared of getting shot in the back from vents. Okay, do you see why this makes sense? I'm pushing through here to clear out this area here, like this whole area, because I'm scared that they're going to push in from vents and they're going to push in from here. So to mitigate that, I push out one area aggressively so that I can then focus on the other area entirely. So I push right through here. I hear them all running around. So I know I got this guy, that first guy, but I did hear Bungaloo Boogle here running around, and I know he has an op. So what I need to decide here, this is the end of a kill sequence. What I just did, that is a kill sequence there. Should I go aggressive or should I go passive? Well, I end up going aggressive, and I end up actually killing this guy. However, I don't think that was the correct decision in general. I think the correct decision would have been able to fall back right along into this area here and actually play it passively. Okay, because Sav here has A. Then I don't have to worry about this side of the map. Boozin is going to come out behind him and try and kill him if he goes through here. So I don't really have to worry too much about them going to any other bomb site. B is the bomb site that I have to worry about. Now, the question here is, do I know that Bungaloo Boogle here has the bomb? And if I know that he has the bomb, then potentially pushing through is a good idea, just so that this player here at A, this Sav, isn't going to be in a 1v2. So it could potentially be a good idea. However, I think in general, if I'm thinking this through, I should be falling back and playing passively, because we are in a 3v2 here, which means as long as nobody makes any mistakes, we should win the round. Where if I die here, we're in a 2v2 and it's up to my teammates to carry and win. So I push out aggressively, I get the kill, and this round is pretty much over from here. I'm already in a 3v1, the bomb's down, we have control of it. I shouldn't have gone this aggressive, but I'm going this aggressive simply because I'm in an ESEA pug, I'm bored, and I want to get some kills. Now, actually, going that aggressive wasn't too bad, assuming we knew he was in vents. However, I don't think we actually did know he was in vents, which could have made that a very dangerous play. So heading into this round, I've got an M4 yet again, I've got an op this time, and I'm just going to peek out, get a frag, and then basically the whole round is going to end here real quick. It's just a bit of an obliteration here. Very easy round. I'm going to skip this one. And we'll go on to the next one here, and this is the round that I actually wanted to analyze because this has some very cool stuff that happens. So I pick B early, this was my plan, and I rotate right off over to A because my teammate's calling some action at A. Get a kill, nothing abnormal here. I'm trying to rotate into sight because I believe we have the bomb down, or we know it's there. Now I end up in a 1v2 here. So what my teammate has called is that one is coming through speedways. So I know that someone is in this area here, and I know that this player here is in this area here. So those are the two areas I know where players are. And there's a minute and 10 seconds left. Okay, which means I need to go aggressive, find an entry, and try and make this round happen. Now, the best time for me to go aggressive here is right now, because this is where I know where they are, I know what we can do, I know that I have an advantage and I can peek out and kill these guys before they have the ability to rotate off and make me think, and they can go anywhere on the entire map, and that's just really bad. So what I want to do here is go aggressive as soon as possible. So that's what I do. I peek out, peek towards mid, miss that shot. Now, this is where I know that this guy here, he was forklift. What is he going to do? All right. This is deep thinking here. What is this guy at forklift going to do? There are a few things he could do. Now, I think the optimal play for him is to run back through A main and just head straight on over to B while this guy goes safe over here. Okay, I think that's the absolute optimal play, and that's actually a little bit of what I'm expecting. The other two things he could have done are what he does, which is he wants to rush me and try and get me close up, or he can go around here, which I think is, again, better than what he did. I think both options are better than what he did. So you can see here, what I'm doing is analyzing the gameplay from their perspective, so I'm actually getting some insight into the way people are playing against me as well, which is a little bit cool to try and do, but this is how you win 1v2s. Think about it from their perspective. You get inside their heads and you outplay them. So I think that this guy is probably falling back in my mind, or he's pushing up, or he's going to the right or left side of the box here. Now, if he's pushing up, or he's going back, then I can catch him by peeking out from the left side of the box right here. So that's exactly what I do. And the thing is, if he's pushing to this side of the box, then I also know that by peeking out and clearing out this whole area, I can focus on him being here. I can focus on both players being in this area, and I can actually try and kill them that way. So I peek out here, and I get the frag, just a nice shot by me, and now I'm going to peek out here again and notice that he's in sight. And I just heard him get into sight. So now I'm getting inside of his head. I cannot play this passively. So let's think about this. After that was a kill sequence there. I cannot go passive because I have the bomb down, and it's right next to me. I have nowhere to escape to. There's absolutely no way I am getting out of this bomb site. And if I go passive, he's going to end up close range to me with his rifle close. Okay, so can I go passive? No, I obviously cannot. If I go passive, I will end up dying very easily. So I need to go aggressive here. I need to stop him from getting close range to me. So what I do here is I peek out towards Speedway here, try and clear that out. So now I know he's not Speedway, and not only that, but I know he's in this area. Okay, he's in this area here. Now, what are the things he could do from that area? Well, he could come around this way, like this, and try and peek out on me like that. However, that seems unlikely because he knows I'm going to be expecting him to come from Speedway. The other thing he could do is come around like this and try and come around. Okay, and that's something that a lot of people would do. However, the most common thing that's going to happen here, because he knows I have an op. If I had a rifle, he likely would have played this differently. But because he knows I have an op, the most likely thing he's going to do is try and change elevation on me. So that means he's either going to peek out from up here above on catwalk, right up above here, on the catwalk, or he's going to walk over here to try and catch me, which doesn't seem very likely. He could walk over here to try and catch me and then jump up onto forklift and then onto the catwalk and then jump down onto the barrel, because this is the end spot here. Most people against ops, when they have a rifle, they're going to want to get onto this red barrel because they know they can get an elevation difference, which makes your shots incredibly hard to hit. Okay, so I'm getting into his head here. I think that what he's going to do is he's either going over here like that. I know he can't go on catwalk. So even though I said he could be on catwalk, he can't because I know he's not. I heard him close to the bin. Which means he's either here or he's going to be hugging this barrel like this. So all I do is I try and beat him out here. So I walk around the corner, not let him know that I'm coming around so he can pre-fire me. And I'm trying to beat him out and catch him as he's boosting up here, or catch him before he's here. So all I simply do, I peek around and I come around, and this is just a free kill right there as I come around the corner and I get the frag. Now, this is a little bit of an analysis of the demo. There were better rounds for me to go over where I actually did find a lot more mistakes in my gameplay, but you can see even in a round where I got a 3K, I showed you I made quite a few mistakes. Now in this last round here, I don't think I made any real mistakes, but in the round previously, I did make some mistakes, and in the second round, the one where it was just a complete shutout, I did go too aggressive as well. So I'm just going over my thought process, and this is how to analyze a demo. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.